All right, so in this video, we're just gonna take our rock, paper, scissors game that we've already built. And if you didn't do that, I have the starter code if you wanna follow along. So the game is very simple. Right now, it only plays one time. And what we're gonna do is make it more of a game so that it will repeat. And we'll start by just making it repeat 3 times, but we'll end by making it repeat until somebody wins, let's say 2 out of 3 or 3 out of 5, totally up to you how you wanna implement it. But we'll have it repeat until either the human player wins or the computer wins. So it becomes more of a game. So here's the starter code. This was the final version I made in the rock, paper, scissors section. Let's just run it once. Python 3, what did I call it? RPS with loop. Okay, so enter our choice. Let's say rock, not Rick, rock. The computer plays paper, computer wins. Okay, so we want to just automate this, have it happen 3 times. So that's very simple. All that we do is take all of the code we want to repeat and indent it, just like that, and put it in a loop. So our loop will be, we could just do for x or time in range 3. So this is the simplest version. It just repeats 3 times every time. So let's clear and try again. Oh, what do you know? Forgot my colon. Silly cold. Okay, so we play rock, and it asks again. So as a tie the first time, enter your choice. So we'll do 4. What am I thinking? Paper. So computer 1. And let's do scissors. And then it finishes. So already we have a simple game that runs 3 times, but it's still dumb. No offense to our game, but it's dumb in that it doesn't know who wins. So rather than doing a for loop that repeats a set number of times, let's actually make this keep going until the human player or the computer wins. So to do that, we need to keep track of the number of wins. So let's do player wins equals 0 and computer wins equals 0. Okay? So we'll say something like while the player wins is less than 2 and computer wins is less than 2. So let's do that. While player wins is less than 2 and computer wins is less than 2. We're going to repeat all of this. So we'll get rid of that for loop. Now the thing is we're not ever adding to player wins, so let's do that now. So anytime down here we see computer wins, we'll add 1 to computer wins. So computer wins plus equals 1. If we see player wins, we'll say player wins plus equals 1. I'm just going to copy this now. So next time we see player wins, I guess I put you win instead. Let's say player wins. And same thing down here. And if we see computer wins, let's go down. This is kind of messy, by the way. We haven't really seen better ways of refactoring our code, but once we learn functions, things will be a little cleaner. But wherever we see computer wins, where else was that? We add 1 to the computer wins score, and once again, here. The other thing we should do is at the beginning, let's print out the scores. So let's say print, let's do an F string, player score, and we'll add player score or player wins, and then we'll do space computer score and do the same thing just so we can see what's happening. Computer wins. Okay, let's see if I have any typos. Let's see what happens. So let me clear this, make some space, and starts out 0 to 0. So I'm going to play paper first. And it says it's a tie, so it's still 0 to 0. So this time, whoops, let's enter paper again. And, oh no, the computer played rock. So, oh no, I'm crazy. Computer played rock, so I won. Swing of emotions there. And you can see player score is 1, computer score is 0. So this time, let's do scissors. The computer won. So now it's 1 to 1. So whoever wins this one, unless it's a tie, let's go with paper again. It's a tie, so it's still 1 to 1. This is riveting. Let's do rock. No, the computer won. And you can see the game finished. So that's actually pretty good. I mean, it works. It really changes. It adds a whole new dimension to the game. There's a couple changes we can make, though. The first is that at the end, we're never printing out who won. So at the end, we could just add a simple print statement that would say something like final score. And let's just copy what we had up here. This whole F string, actually. Like this. And I'll just say final scores. Player and computer. So we'll be able to see who won. And if we wanted, we could add a conditional to say congratulations or I'm sorry. So let's just do this really quickly. Test it out. I'm just going to go paper every time. Okay, well, you can see I actually did one too many times. Player won with 2, computer lost because it only won 1 time. Cool. So we could add a conditional down here. That was something like if, and let's do player score or player wins is greater than computer wins. Then we'll print congrats, you won. Else we'll print oh no, the computer won. Let's do that. Okay, so I'll get rid of the final scores at the end. And the reason I decided to do if player wins is greater than computer wins rather than if player wins is equal to 2, because right now that's how a player wins or the computer wins, is that I want to leave room to actually update this. So we might want to play best of 3 or best of 5. So what I could do instead is make a variable called winning score and set it equal to 2 and replace this. Hopefully that makes sense why I would do that. So now if I wanted to make the game best of 5, I just change this. Or if I want to make the first person to 5, I make winning score equal to 5. Or let's say 3. So it won't take as long. And test it. Clear everything out. And I'll play rock. And rock every time. Wow, we're getting a lot of ties. Okay, and you can see that it was the first person to reach 3 was me. I had 2, and then I won again. So my score went to 3. Congrats, you won. Okay, and if I wanted to, I could change it back to 1. And now it's just a single game, unless it's a tie. So let's say I play paper, and I won, so it's over. So we've made it a bit more flexible rather than hard coding 2. Okay, so the last thing, let's add in a break. So I'll put this back at 3 wins. And the reason we might want to add in a break is if the user wants to quit prematurely before, they want to forfeit. Right now, we have to force quit it with like Control C or D and basically end the entire Python process. But what we could do is once the user enters input, where is that happening? Player equals input right here. We'll just do if input equals quit, or let's even add in input equals Q. Break, and that's it. Okay, so let's try it. So let's say I'm playing rock, and then I decide, you know what, I want to quit. So I type quit. It didn't work. So what did we do wrong? Or what did I do wrong? Let's see. That would be the problem. Testing input equals. We need to test if our variable player is equal. Okay, so let's do my not so graceful quit. This is the problem, as you can see. Trying to get out of here. We want to add quit. There we go. So now we have our quit implemented. Let's try it. So I'm going to play paper, and I decide after 2, I'm done. Let's type quit. And it says, oh no, the computer won. And that's fine. There is technically a small loophole here. If we're tied at the end of the game, it's still going to say that the computer won. So we could add in one more thing here. That would be elif player wins equals computer wins. Print, it's a tie. Now this only happens if we quit the game when it's a tie. Else, oh no, the computer won. All right, finally, let's test it and be done with this. Okay, so let's say, how can I get a tie? Let's do paper. And it's a tie again. All right, so it's a tie right now. Perfect. So if I type Q or quit, we get it's a tie. Perfect. All right, so this is kind of a cool moment for us. It's the first thing we've built that feels sort of substantial. I mean, it's a lot of code relative to what we've done, relative to printing out little emojis in a row. And it involves a lot more logic. We've got a big loop that runs potentially a lot of times. It might run once, but if we're doing a best of 10, or if we're doing the first to 5, it's going to run a lot, especially if we keep getting ties and draws, right? Because if we could use a for loop and just have it run 5 times, but if we get a draw, then there won't actually be a winner, potentially. And it will always run 5 times. Versus here, if we're doing the first to 3, we might have 100 tie games first, and then somebody finally wins. Then we added in the chance to break if you quit, using quit or Q. And yeah, we printed out at the end who won. So kind of a long video, but hopefully kind of fun to make this bit a bit more of a game.